And a good Friday to you, and a good Friday to you. It is Good Friday, the 30th day of March 2018. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Happy Friday. If you stand on your tiptoes, you can see the weekend from here. We say good morning to you, and thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Live channel. I am Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour. As you see, the chair to my immediate left is unoccupied for the time being. News Director Steve Hare has the day off, but we still have the necessary news you need to know to start your day and to start your weekend. We'll take care of that here in just a couple of minutes. We have your weather forecast. We have your past report. We got sports. Good opening night for the Seattle Mariners. Plus, we'll preview round number 3 of the BCHL playoffs. The Wenatchee Wild welcome the Trail Smoke Eaters to town. We got that in sports. We have the obscure holiday. We have today in history. We have birthdays. We have everyone is entitled to Mike McKnight's opinion. And coming up in the second half of the show, my conversation with Randy Smith, the cross guy, for lack of a better term. We're all familiar with the cross that sits at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights. In fact, what you see to my immediate left, our little window, is what we affectionately call the cross cam. It's our own camera. It's located just to the east of the cross itself. It's an iconic part of the Wenatchee Valley and has been for about the last 20 years. Randy is the man who he's the genesis of this entire cross. Is really Randy's baby, and we'll talk about how it came to be when we come up with Randy in the second half of the show. It seemed appropriate, today being Good Friday and Easter coming up on Sunday. So it's a jam-packed show for you. A scenario happens every once in a while. We got 5 pounds worth of show and a 4-pound bag to put it in. Also, we have all the results and all the winners of last night's Red Cross Hometown Heroes Awards. The big ceremony was held last night at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Our cameras were there, and we'll run you through all of the winners on a very special night at the Convention Center. So if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let's go around North Central Washington with the Valley View cameras. I mentioned the cross cam, and there it is. High clouds, going to be a little breezy today. We got the forecast coming up, so that is the view from the very tip of Wenatchee Heights. You can actually see the very tip of Wenatchee Heights in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, so let's pull back a little bit. We always begin our tour around North Central Washington with these cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless with the Valley proper. And now from this point forward, you and I find out together because Kat, our producer, gets to decide. And she has decided that we were going to go to, I want to say, Union Valley. That's Union Valley, pointed a little farther up lake than we normally see. So Lake Chelan clearly in view. Let you know exactly what you're looking at. Chelan would be farther down to the left. If you just kept moving to the left, eventually the beautiful hamlet of Chelan would come into view. So that's Union Valley, pointed not quite directly due north, but farther north than we would normally show it to you because we can move these cameras around. Ain't technology wonderful? That's camera 2. Camera 3 takes us to, that's Cougar Ridge. We used this camera yesterday. As a matter of fact, pulled back quite a bit. Omi Garden comes into view. You can see Sunny Slope, the Stamilk Complex, the Old Station Industrial Area, the Odobashian Bridge on a good-looking Friday morning, That's a pun I don't think I'll get tired of. Camera number 4. Where are we going, Kat? Let's find out. Ah, there it is. Billy Goat. Billy Goat, Billy Goat. That, of course, is the Columbia River. You can see where the Methow dumps into the Columbia in the beautiful town of Pateros. The Methow Valley would be to your left. And as we mentioned before, this camera is about the highest one we got as far as elevation is concerned. My friends at Sky-Fi tell me that that camera is about 6,800 feet above sea level. So if there were no clouds at all, and you could see Mount Kalispell, you could actually see Canada. Isn't that cool? Of course, up there they use kilometers and not miles, and then I get all confused. So those are our tour around the Wenatchee Valley with our Valley View cameras on this Friday. 4 minutes after the hour, let's do your weather forecast. It's a big weekend. It's Easter weekend. Not too bad. A little breezy today. Temperature slightly above normal. We'll have quite a bit of sunshine. We have some clouds now, but the sun is going to be the dominant feature today. High of about 62, but a little breezy at times today. Northwest winds 6 to 11 miles an hour, about 15 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon, but the wind has a tendency to die down in the evening hours, and it will tonight. Although the clouds will be thickening up, the wind will be dying down, so it's a mixed bag there. 40 for the overnight low. Saturday, partly sunny, 58 degrees, about normal, light and variable wind, so it looks like the Antioch Kite Festival up at Kiwanis Park in Antioch will be a go on Saturday, just enough breeze to fly your kite. Sunday, Easter Sunday, quite a bit of sunshine, temperature of 57 is slightly below normal. Sunday, though, a quick heads up, it's going to be windy. Wind out of the west about 5 to 10 miles an hour on Easter Sunday. It will be increasing to about 11 to 16 miles per hour on Easter Sunday afternoon. Gusts stronger than that at times. And then Monday, we head back to work with lots of sunshine and a high of 57 degrees. Most of next week going to be fairly active. We'll have some windy days. We'll have some rainy days. We'll have some cloudy days. But all in all, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday sets up to be a very pleasant forecast until we get to Monday night into Tuesday, and then all of next week, a mixed bag. We get a little bit of everything. It'll be a weather smorgasbord. 5 minutes after the hour to the passes we go, and unless conditions warrant, this will be our final pass report of the winter driving season. Don't forget, though, you can keep your studs on until April 15th. They gave you a 2-week extension this year. Thank you, DOT. That's a live shot of I-90. Snoqualmie Pass. No advisories, no restrictions. A little bit of light rain coming down. The roadway is bare and wet. Stevens Pass looks like this. This is, again, a live shot, just a couple minutes old. No advisories, no restrictions on Stevens. The roadway is bare and wet. It is raining on US 2 Stevens at the summit, and also some areas of fog. And then we go to Blewett, where everything is fine. A little bit of light rain coming down. No advisories, no restrictions. The roadway is bare and dry. So on the big three, I-90, Blewett, Stevens, no advisories, no restrictions. A couple of inches of snow possible today. It's going to be windy. Heads up on that. Very gusty conditions on all three of the major mountain passes expected today. A couple of inches of snow possible on Stevens, and Stevens alone. They're not expecting any snow at all on I-90 or on Blewett Pass. And that's it really for precipitation. Maybe Easter night, Sunday night into Monday, another couple of inches, but we don't foresee any inclement weather up in the Cascades. You are good to go on this Friday. All right, 7 minutes after the hour, going to take a quick break. As I mentioned before, Steve Hare, our news director, is taking the day off. He got a nice 3-day weekend. Good for Steve. He deserves it. Grant Olson, our news anchor, will handle the news when we come back, and I will run you through all of the winners of last night's Red Cross Hometown Heroes Award celebration at the Convention Center. All that's coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Good Friday edition, live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good Friday morning. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare with a look at your morning news headlines. 2 weeks ago, we told you about Link Transit's newly developed wireless 200 kilowatt on-route battery charger from Momentum Dynamics. Yesterday, Link showed off that new technology. Of the 5 electric buses currently in the Link system, 1 is equipped with the wireless charging technology. The wireless charger was installed at Columbia Station and has successfully transmitted 208 kilowatts to Link's new 2017 electric coach bus. At a cost of $500,000, this use of automatic wireless charging represents the first time in the country that a 200 kilowatt wireless charging system has been placed into routine revenue service with a public transit agency. The higher power of the new system will allow much faster charging of the bus each time it stops or just a few minutes along a circulation route. The ability to wirelessly charge a municipal bus is important in transit operations because faster charging allows the buses to achieve driving ranges that make them viable for most daily services. Previous charging installations have achieved charging rates of only 25% of this new power level. Well, Grant County PUD reports Microsoft will contribute $200,000 for the build-out of the utility's wholesale fiber optic network in the George area. Since 2006, when it opened a data center in Quincy, Microsoft has supported community projects in Grant County, from human services to environmental programs and beyond. Mike Miles, General Manager of Microsoft Cloud Infrastructure and Operations, told PUD commissioners this week that the City of George is the only incorporated city in Grant County that does not have access to fiber optic service, and that the company is eager to help change that. Fiber service is available to about 70% of Grant's PUD's customers. Grant PUD commissioners set aside $7 million in the 2018 budget for fiber optic expansion. Well, as a Woods-owned business for 111 years, the Wenatchee World has been sold. In an announcement Thursday, Wenatchee World publisher Rufus G. Woods said the newspaper has been sold to WUWV Communications, a third-generation family-owned and operated media corporation from Arizona. Woods says, quote, "It's been our privilege to be the stewards of this wonderful community asset for 3 generations, and we're grateful to be able to hand the reins to another family-oriented company that shares our community-building values." He says the Wenatchee World is the first newspaper in the state of Washington for WUWV, and all employees of the World have been offered jobs with WUWV Communications. The Wenatchee Daily World was founded in 1905 and purchased 2 years later by Rufus Woods and his brother Ralph. Later, their cousin Warren Woods became the paper's business manager. Rufus Woods was publisher until his death in 1950. Spring prescribed burning is set to start next week on the Okanagan and Wenatchee National Forest. NCW Life's Steve Hare reports.
Fire managers from Natchez to the Okanagan Highlands will be working along the east slope of the Cascades to make the area less vulnerable to future catastrophic wildfires. Managers say frequent low-intensity fire is essential for healthy forests and better protected communities. And while more than 10,000 acres are planned this spring, fewer acres may be completed if conditions are not favorable. Residents and visitors can expect to see and also smell some smoke each day during burning operations. Prescribed burns each day are scheduled for the Chelan, Eniat, Wenatchee River, Tenasket, Methow, and Natchez Ranger districts. You can log on to ncwlife.com for more detailed information about the specific fires near your area. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Well, with the weekend right around the corner, there are lots of activities around the valley for you to take in. NCW Life's Megan McPherson has the details.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Put on your thinking cap for a casual evening of trivia for local history buffs, culture gurus, and museum lovers at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center Friday, March 30 at 6 p.m. Bring your friends, up to 6 people per team, and meet some of the smartest people in town. Test your knowledge of museum exhibits, Wenatchee Valley history, natural science, music, and current events. There will be 6 rounds with 5 questions each. Each round will have a different theme. A great way to prepare is to visit the museum and check out their Facebook page. Snacks and prizes will be provided, and wine and beer will be available for purchase. Joseph M. Martin's magnificent and moving choral works, Song of the Shadows, will be performed by the Leavenworth Community United Methodist Church Choir together with the Leavenworth Village Voices Choral on Good Friday, March 30 at 7 p.m. Special guest artists, including cellist Meredith Honeycutt, will also perform. There is no admission charge and donations will be accepted. The Weinstein Beverage Beat the Buzzer finalist competitions is at Pybus Market on Saturday, March 31. Winner takes home a cool $1,000. Admission is free to the general public to watch the competition. Small Woods Harvest is hosting an Easter egg hunt Saturday, March 31 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will be free fun activities all day and special activities that cost $2 per ticket. There will be a prop maze, petting zoo, bounce house, hay wagon and cow train rides, food, beverages, and more. And finally, the Eniat Kite Fest is happening on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Kiwanis Park. Come enjoy food, fun, and most importantly, kites. There will be entertainment, magic performances by Jason Sims, a bouncy house, and a great opportunity to paint and fly your very own kite. There will be free kites for kids to decorate and fly. Hot dogs and beverages will be by donation. For more information on this weekend's events, visit ncwlife.com.
And that's a look at your Friday morning news headlines. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare, and I hope you join me once again at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock tonight for the NCW Life Evening News. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Grant. One more item of business to get to. Community members who went above and beyond honored last night at the annual Red Cross Hometown Heroes event at the Wenatchee Convention Center. The awards, and there were many of them to hand out, all of them You know about this gentleman, Pat McFadden, who is the head basketball coach of Bridgeport, who saved his stepson in a house fire. He was also honored earlier in the week by Douglas County Sheriff Harvey Jesdahl. Also honored last night at the Wenatchee Convention Center at the Hometown Heroes Awards included Brandon Freeland. Brandon Freeland, a firefighter from the Seattle area, was a bystander when he saved a man from drowning in Leavenworth. He was honored last night as well, as was Deputy Chief Brian Brett. He's going to be the next chief of Chelan County Fire District Number 1. He was honored for his hard work and his honorable firefighting capabilities. There they are being honored. Of course, the Apple Blossom Royal Court was there as usual. Also honored last night, Carol Suneda from the Grief Ministry, the local chapter of Compassionate Friends. She helps individuals through grief, through counseling and classes. She was nominated for her dedication and passion for the community. Congratulations to Carol. Also honored last night, Corporal Ryan Weatherman from the Wenatchee Police Department. He saved a woman from her burning house when she was trapped in her bedroom. He helped pull her out of the window. The call came in at 2:56 in the morning out of Rivercom, and she was out of the building by 3:02 in the morning. Congratulations to Corporal Weatherman. Also honored last night, Jan Sinnett. She is the secretary of Vale Elementary School in Kashmir. She was honored by the Red Cross Hometown Heroes for her dedication to the youth of North Central Washington. Also honored last night, Deputy Dave De La Rosa and Canine Grizzly. An Ephrata woman called for assistance. Her husband with Alzheimer's went missing. Dave and his Canine Grizzly found the missing man in a hole yards from his home within minutes of arriving. That's a great story. Amazing story of Scott Strutzel from the Washington State Department of Transportation. 3 remarkable things he did. On December 20th of last year, he located a vehicle on the shoulder of State Route 2 with a female driver with a head injury. He called for aid, and then 6 days later, Scott observed a vehicle involved in a robbery and helped deputies locate 2 robbery suspects. And then on January 1st, the State Patrol called in a vehicle driving recklessly, but deputies unable to find the vehicle. Scott was able to find the vehicle, and he found that the driver was in insulin shock and needed medical attention immediately. Scott Strutzel recognized for situational awareness and going above and beyond on the job. Also honored last night, Shannon Port. She manages the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activities Center thrift store, which has been a very booming success, and she was honored for operating the store. The store itself is the primary source of funds for the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activities Center. Deputy Will Tengel and Deputy Cole Soriano of the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, they were honored. The day after Christmas last year, a structure fire in Chelan. The reporting party trapped in their home. Both deputies responded several miles up a snowy dirt road prior to the fire personnel. The deputies broke the window open. The man was trapped. They pulled the resident outside. They saved the man's life by responding quickly and efficiently. And finally, there is our friend Rick Isaacson, the volunteer of volunteers with the Chelan County Fire Search and Rescue, Wenatchee Police Department, Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Public Information Officer. He's a great guy. He really spearheads the spirit of the Hometown Heroes Award celebration. Congratulations to Rick Isaacson. He got the Spirit of the Red Cross Award last night at the Wenatchee Convention Center. We'll have more on this with the news with Grant Olson at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. A reminder, our 5 o'clock news tonight will be preempted. We have high school baseball. We'll be covering the Wenatchee High School Panthers as they take on the Sunnyside Grizzlies. We'll have game 2 of that doubleheader from Historic Recreation Park right around 5 o'clock this afternoon. So you won't have the news with Grant at 5, nor probably 6, but we will certainly get it in for you at 10 o'clock. Remember, you can always watch the news on demand late in the afternoon by going to our website at ncwlife.com. At the bottom of your screen, that's all the different ways you can get a hold of us. You can private message us on our Facebook page. You can email us directly at news@ncwlife.com if you so desire. If you go to our website, ncwlife.com, you'll see the Contact Us icon. You can write us a note that way, or you can submit a news tip if you so desire. So at the bottom of your screen, write it all down. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers here on the NCW Life channel. All right, just about 20 minutes after the hour on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports. The Seattle Mariners are undefeated. Well, they've only played 1 game. Sports is coming up next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
21 minutes after the hour on this 30th day of March. It is Good Friday. Overcast skies, mixture of clouds and sun, 43 degrees. Quite a bit of sunshine today and a high of about 60. A little bit of wind this afternoon and a little bit of wind on Easter Sunday. Let's move on to sports. They say if you're going to win every game of the baseball season, you got to win the first one. Well, the Mariners did last night. Felix Hernandez pitching shutout ball into the 6th inning. Nelson Cruz provided the offense, a 2-run home run to the first, and the Mariners opened the season with a 2-1 victory over the Cleveland Indians last night. King Felix became just the 7th pitcher to start at least 10 straight opening days, and he got off to a strong start against one of the best teams in the American League. Hernandez allowing 2 hits in 5 1/3 innings. He was pulled because of a limited pitch count. Remember, he didn't do a lot of pitching over spring training after he got hit by that line drive. He missed some time there, but he looked good last night. For King Felix, 7 opening day wins. That ties him with Randy Johnson, Tom Seaver, and Jimmy Key for 4th most all-time. Following King Felix, the Mariners used 5 relievers. Edwin Diaz, he hit 2 batters in the 9th, but he struck out the final 2 batters to close out. He gets the save. King Felix given an early jolt from Mr. Cruz, who picked up where he left off last year. He hit 39 home runs last year, and Cruz hit the first pitch he saw from Corey Kluber over the center field fence for the early 2-0 lead. That was all the runs Seattle would get against Kluber. He threw well. He pitched 8 innings. He allowed just 6 hits, but the Mariners pulled it out. By the way, Ichiro started in left field, went 0 for 2, his first game in a Seattle Mariner uniform since July of 2012. He was greeted with a huge ovation during the player introductions and prior to his first at-bat, so Ichiro back in the fold. 2 teams are off today. They'll play on Saturday. Saturday afternoon at 1:05, Cleveland will send Carlos Carrasco to the mound. The Mariners will go with their ace from last year, James Paxton. 1:05 first pitch at the safe again on Saturday afternoon. No Mariner baseball today. But there's Wenatchee Wild hockey tonight, and then there were 4 teams left, and the Wenatchee Wild are one of them in the BCHL playoffs. They advanced to the 3rd round. They knocked off Merritt in round 1, Vernon in round 2. Tonight at the Town Toyota Center, game 1 of the BCHL semifinals. The Wenatchee Wild play host to the Trail Smoke Eaters. Art Checker, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, was my guest on this program yesterday morning, and he previewed the series.
There was a big chunk of the middle of the season where they were playing pretty depleted, Trail was. And one of their big stars is Cale Howarth. He's a UConn commit to play Division I college at Connecticut. He's also already been drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets in the NHL. He was missing for a big chunk of that. Also, there's the World Junior A Challenge was going on, and there was a few players. Ross Armour, who's one of their leading scorers, was gone at that tournament. Seth Barton, one of their top defensemen, was gone. So they had a bunch of guys that missed a bunch of time. Cale Howarth was gone. He had some scholastic things he was doing, and so I mean they were missing, a lot of their firepower. And yeah, they finished in 4th, not by a whole lot, but in a tough division. They weren't that far behind us.
No.
So if you want to say, well, Trail, they finished 4th. Well, Wenatchee, guess what? You only finished 3rd, so you're only just Now, we beat Trail 4 of the 6 times we played them, all 3 at home, but they beat us twice up there.
Yeah.
One of the games that they won up there, they beat us 2-1. We outshot them 41-19, and they won 2-1. And their goaltender had a phenomenal night. So they've got all ends covered. They've got a solid defense, and they've got a very potent offense. They've got great veteran presence, and they've also got some of the top rookies in the league as well. So they're a very deep team, and it would be folly to look past them. They're very strong.
They'll drop the puck at 7:05 tonight and 7:05 tomorrow night. Any seats in the bowl at the Town Toyota Center is just $10 a pop, and students get in for just $7. Wenatchee Wild hockey, 3rd round of the playoffs begins tonight. Friendly programming reminder, we have high school baseball tonight. We'll be covering Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Wenatchee Panthers and the Sunnyside Grizzlies from Recreation Park. Grant Olson will be calling the action. Tune in for high school baseball, our first high school baseball broadcast of the season, 5-ish or so tonight right here on the NCW Live channel. 25 minutes after the hour, time for the obscure holiday of the day today. I had 3 to choose from. Today is National Doctor's Day. Nothing wrong with that. Today is also I Am in Control Day, which is never true around here regarding me, so I decided to go with option number 3. Today is Take a Walk in the Park Day. Take a Walk in the Park Day. An opportunity to exercise, to relax. Yes, you can both exercise and relax at the same time, and the best way to do that is take a walk in the park. It's a perfect stress reliever. It's calming, it's therapeutic, it's pretty. You want to do it with somebody. I mean, I've noticed when I go out and I see people around the Riverfront Park Trail System and the Apple Capital Recreational Loop Trail, when they're walking with somebody, you're talking and you're, enjoying each other's company. But if you're walking by yourself, you have a tendency to walk with a purpose. And you usually have music on of some kind or another. Make it the most enjoyable part of your day. Just go out and take a walk in the park today. We have beautiful parks all over North Central Washington to do so. It's good for you. Take a walk in the park today, and it's going to be a nice day to do it. I might add, nice day, nice weekend to do it as well. Take a walk in the park day, always celebrated on March 30th because, I don't know. It is March 30th. Let's do Today in History. I got 4 items I wanted to touch on today. Today is the 151st birthday of Seward's Folly, which wasn't such a folly. It may have been the greatest real estate transaction of all time. Alaska was purchased from Russia. The United States bought Alaska from Russia on this date in 1867. The price tag, $7.2 million. That came out to 2 cents an acre. Pretty good deal, wasn't it? William H. Seward, the Secretary of State, organized the whole thing. That is the actual check that the United States wrote to the Russian government, and it cleared the bank, and it became ours. The United States purchased Russia on this date 151 years ago. 51 years ago today, that photo was taken. The photo session for the album cover for the Beatles classic Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band took place late in the afternoon on March 30th, 1967. When the photo session was over, the Beatles went back to the Abbey Road studios and went back to work on the album. And the song they recorded that day, while still wearing their costumes, was With a Little Help from My Friends. Maybe the most famous album cover in the history of music. They took the photo on this date back in 1967. I remember this. 37 years ago today, March 30th, 1981, President Ronald Reagan shot in the chest outside of a Washington, D.C. hotel by John Hinckley Jr. 3 others were wounded. White House Press Secretary James Brady was seriously wounded. Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy wounded, and Washington, D.C. police officer Thomas Delonte also wounded. All 3 survived. James Brady suffered significant brain damage when he died 4 years ago. His official cause of death was homicide because his death was ultimately caused by the bullet wound that he suffered on this date 37 years ago. Reagan was much more seriously wounded than they originally let on. It's true, but he got through it all right. That's the 1981 LSU Tigers, who have a very unique distinction. On this date in 1981, Virginia defeated LSU in the national 3rd place game. That's right. They used to play a runner-up game before the national championship game. They did that in 1981. Virginia defeated LSU, so LSU finished 4th in the NCAA tournament that year. The next year, they got rid of it. Since 1982, the 2 teams that lose the national semifinals share 3rd place. So the last team ever to finish in 4th place, LSU, finished in 4th place on this date in 1981. They no longer play for 3rd and 4th place anymore. And finally, we have birthdays on this March 30th. Vincent van Gogh, born on this date in 1853, passed away, suicide, of course, at the age of 37. In 1890. In just over a decade, he created about 2,100 pieces of art, most notably the oil paintings. He painted 860 oil paintings, almost all of them within the last 2 years of his life. He laid the foundation of modern art. Of course, he died broke of a suicide after many, many years of mental illness and poverty, and now he is a giant in the world of art. Vincent van Gogh, born March 30th, 1853, and the only 3-time inductee Into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Eric Clapton celebrates his 73rd birthday today. He was in the news a couple of weeks ago. He said he has tinnitus, and it's not going to get any better. He's slowly losing his hearing. When you play rock and roll at a loud volume for a living, and you've been doing it for 60 years, that's going to happen. The only three-time inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Yardbirds, as a member of Cream, and of course, as a solo artist, considered one of the greatest guitarists of all time. He's number 2 on my personal list of the greatest guitarists in the history of rock and roll, behind only the legendary Jimi Hendrix. Happy 73rd birthday, Eric Clapton. It is 31 minutes after the hour. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. You've never seen it. It's a brand new commentary. And then Randy Smith, the Cross Guy, will be here to talk about the cross on this Good Friday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live from Studio 10 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
High school sports is back this spring on the NCW Live channel. Do you like baseball? We've got you covered with the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats. How about softball? We have you covered there too with fast pitch action right here. How about lacrosse? Yep, got you covered there too with the Wenatchee Valley Thunder. And of course, there's boys soccer. Whatever your interest, we've got you covered on your home for high school spring sports, the NCW Live channel.
Honda makes jets, robots, lawnmowers, motorcycles, boat motors. They're so well known and have a history of making quality machines and engines that's why we're willing to put on our automobiles a lifetime warranty. You know, some manufacturers, if they put this warranty on their vehicles, they'd lose money. Not with Honda. If you're betting against a Honda, you're a bad gambler. They're really well known for winning. My name is David Gonzalez, and I'm a product specialist at Apple Valley Honda.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old, fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
We know crunch.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
So hi, I'm Adam McDonald and I teach history here at Wenatchee High School. If this bond were to pass, the idea of having a classroom where all of my students can fit comfortably, where I'm not making sacrifices, where I have students that can see natural light and have that uplift, where I have the ability to design my classroom in a way that reflects the best practice rather than what I have to make do with, that would make a godsend.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, the Federal Assault Weapons Ban of 1994 banned the following weapons. Semi-automatic rifles that are able to accept detachable magazines and have 2 or more of the following: a folding or telescoping stock, a pistol grip, a bayonet mount, a flash suppressor, or a grenade launcher. Okay, fine. But you know what type of weapon the ban didn't cover? A Ruger Mini 14 rifle. Now, what's relevant about this weapon is that it shoots in semi-automatic mode, it can accept a 30-round magazine, and fires a .223 caliber round, just like an AR-15. But the Ruger is not considered an assault weapon. Now, give that some thought. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life Channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guest for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Lehman Williams, General Manager of Crown Furniture, and I'm inviting you to take advantage of our spring closeout savings event. Save up to 45% off store-wide. Since 1963, Crown Furniture has taken great pride in providing unsurpassed quality, comfort, and selection. So if you're looking to fill that first-time apartment, or you want that built-in America quality with your own custom flair, stop by today and see us at 736 South Wenatchee Avenue, across from Stan's.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive. No nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
37 minutes after the hour, it is Good Friday. Sunday is Easter Sunday, and it seemed appropriate that we bring back a gentleman who we first interviewed on this very television station something like 3 years ago. We affectionately refer to him as the Cross Guy, for lack of a better term, because if we put Randy Smith, local welder, doesn't quite have the same pizzazz as the Cross Guy. My guest today is a gentleman who is basically responsible for what we see anywhere in the Wenatchee Valley. You look up to Wenatchee Heights and you see the cross, and the man responsible for that is my guest today, Randy Smith. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's good to see you. Let's talk a little bit about you first before we get into the cross, because you're new to the show. You've never been on this program before. Thank you, by the way, for doing the show.
No pain.
So give our viewers a little Randy Smith introduction. Talk about yourself. I know you don't like to, but let folks know who you are and what you're about.
Okay, we moved here in '65. My 64, we came through on vacation, blew some tires out on the pass, had to come change tires. My dad found a business for sale here. A year later, we were here, and he was operating the business, and that's basically how we came to this area. Been here ever since. It's a wonderful place to grow up, obviously, and the Lord has blessed tremendously while we've been here. I've got 2 kids and 4 grandkids, or 6 grandkids that all live within 2,000 feet of me, which again, the Lord has blessed incredibly. And so life is good. Life is good with God.
Have you ever thought back to that day in 1965 or 64 when the tires went out on the car and he just happened to be close enough to Wenatchee? Serendipitous, fate? That's a cool story.
Oh yeah, I don't put a whole lot in fate. I put a lot in God. So he orchestrates your life if you let him, and he'll do the best, a lot better than you could. So, oh yeah, we think back and whatnot, and it was a beautiful day back then when we came through. And I don't know what happened, but the tires, I think, got tore up by the chains that we had to put on the pass going over. And so, yeah, it was incredible.
Sounds like you remember that day with crystal clarity, even though it was 50 some odd years ago.
A little bit, yeah. I just remember it was a beautiful day, a beautiful valley. You know, the sun was out, and we looked around at the parks while Dad was investing in the business and whatnot. Mom took us, the kids, and there were several of us that she took us around to kind of look at Wenatchee a little bit, just to get us out of Dad's hair. And it was cool. It was a nice time.
You are a welder by trade.
Yes, that's basically my that's my job. I learned that from shop teacher, Bruce Graham in school. I spent my high school years, 75% of my school time was spent in the shop. And so I managed to pull a 3.0 to graduate, and that's as far as I went in schooling. But that's where I learned how to work more than anything else. He always referred to our grades as our paychecks. And so, yes, he taught me a tremendous amount. And then I worked at three other jobs after school, but the main thing was welding, and it has done well. I haven't had a very big shop. My most employees was 4, but most of the time it's just been 1. And had right outside my home where I live now, 150 feet away is my shop, and we worked out of that, and it did really well. And so,
Mr. Graham is one of those teachers you remember. I remember him very well. He passed away 2-3 years ago,
yes,
I want to say.
Yes.
He was a really neat guy.
He was.
And he was one of those teachers, and the kids know. You can't fool the kids. They know the teachers that lean forward and actually care, and he was one of those.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No doubt
Wonderful
about
guy.
that. So, okay, let's talk about the cross, the genesis of what we see now every day. It's moved around. It's been at different locations. Take us back to the very beginning. Take us back to, I'm going to use my skills as a welder, and I'm going to build a cross, and I'm going to put it up there, and people can look at it. Talk about how this whole thing came to be.
Well, first off, don't confuse me with the cross guy that's on the bridge.
Okay, yeah, a
carrying
different
the
person.
cross.
Right.
That's a different person. I admire what he does, and I'd like to one of these days go down and talk to him about it a little bit.
He'll talk to you.
But, I'm sure he will.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah. Anyway, we driving down Western Street one time, and it was a couple, 3 weeks or a month before Christmas, something like that. I just got the idea, and God's the only one that can give you a good idea like this. Looking up there, thinking on the top of Thimble, above Castle Rock, man, that'd be a great place for a cross. That'd be just great. So I went back to the youth department, the youth leader at our church, and I knew I wouldn't be able to do it by myself, putting that thing up there. So I asked him if he would, get the youth to come out and help, and what he thought about it. And he thought it was okay and whatnot, but it just really never clicked. It never happened. I didn't get any response back from him on it, so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and build it, and then I'll try to get the people together. So I don't remember exactly how long it took me to actually build the thing. At that time, it was only 30 foot tall. So I took basically 2 15-foot sections, and we took up, and I welded them together so it was one 30-foot stick, and then the arms were about 15 foot each on each side, or 10 feet, something like that. It must have been about 10 foot on each side. So we got it all put together, stuck it on my trucks, got a rack so I could hold the whole thing. I got a hold of 3 other adult men and some kids, and we hiked up the hill.
I was going to say, there was no road where it was originally put, right? I mean,
there's no road to the top. No, there is a building site that has been cut. If you go up number 2 Canyon, you can see zigzag going up the rail. Somebody had spent a lot of money cutting a building site up there and then couldn't use it for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, we got permission to go up there and park on this site, and then from there hike on up. So the guys, carried the cross, and the kids carried the tools, and we just took a whole bunch of different stuff because we weren't sure what was going to happen when we got up there. So got up there, laid the thing kind of where we wanted it, got everything all bolted together, and put the guy wires on it, and put 2 guys down here on the guy wires, and another couple of guys behind it, kind of pushing it up, and started to put it up, and the arms started to fold back like they were going to break off. And it's like, oh, put it back down, put it back down. So then we had to do a little bit of problem solving right there and figure out, now how do we keep the arms from falling off? Once it stood up, it's not a problem because they were supported by a guy wire holding them this way, but when you're putting it up, they want to lean back. So we bridged up a little gusset system on it to keep the arms from falling off, got it tipped back up again, and guided it all down and plugged it in, and it was cool. It was really cool. Went down to Burger King right after I got done with that thing, and I met one of the elders at our church, and I nudged him. I said, look up there, what do you think about that thing? And he looked at it, oh, that's kind of cool. And so it was really neat. And the next morning I got a call from Wenatchee World, and Mike Stubblefield was the one that told them, hey, you better call this guy. I think he knows what's going on there. And they basically, that was the very first article about the cross on that time. So it was really cool. We put it up for Christmas and Easter for those few years it was on up on top of them.
Would you take it down between Christmas? I mean, was it so you physically had to put it back again each time?
Yes, we were required to take it down right after Christmas on the first of the year, and then we only had a few days at Easter time where we could put it up. And so that was one of the restrictions we had, were just getting to be a little bit too much. So that was why we were kind of looking for another place. Plus the hike.
Yeah.
The hike was, I mean, an everyday hike. We had a 5-gallon jerry can set up with a tap on it for the gas that went into the generator, and that would just run till the gas ran out. So it would usually run till the AM hours pretty easily. But we had an older generator, and Steve DeCamp, who is the CFO, he takes care of the money for the cross and makes sure that I don't get in trouble. We would trade off between him, myself, and other people to start this generator. So it was a hike up every night, to do this thing. And hopefully, after the first year, we had a crew go up because they wanted to be involved. So we would have as many as 20 or 30 people involved in taking this thing up there. So it was a light load for a lot of people. And so we would usually store gas up there. So, but sometimes you'd have to take some with you and you hike up the hill.
And gas is not light.
No, it's not. And you'd always want to take 2. That way you had an even load. So you'd want to take 2 5s half full or something to that effect, because it was kind of tough. But Steve DeCamp went up there one very cold morning or an evening to start this thing up, and he pulled that thing. He told me when he called after he got back, I pulled that thing over 80 times before that generator stopped. We're buying a Honda. So we got a Honda the next time, and that was kind of cured that problem as
I hope
far
he bought
as
it at Save Mart. Yeah, that's another story.
I don't know about that.
So
but
the original property, was it private property? Was it DNR? What were the restrictions that were placed on you when you first put it up near Castle Rock all those years ago?
Well, there were no restrictions when we first put it up there.
Okay.
That was Don Eisenhart, the vet.
Okay.
And my brother had purchased his property there on the McKittrick and Western. And so I called him and he said, yeah, no problems. No, just go ahead and put it up there. But then since then, the land had changed ownership. It was in a trust now. And they were, well, they're more liability conscious.
And that's understandable.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there were just all these parameters put on it and whatnot, and it's just, plus the hike. It was probably more the hike than anything else. So we decided that we would look for a new spot, and that's where it moved.
And you did.
Yeah.
So it's where it sits now is the 3rd location, right?
Correct.
So
correct.
So you were at Castle Rock. It was time to move it, and then it went to where for those who don't remember?
Well, it went across the street from where it is now, up onto Rooster Combe.
Right.
Lauren Brown. I don't know if I contacted him or he contacted me, but I got a hold of him and he said, "Go ahead, yeah, you can go put it up there." So we took the drive up there to kind of look around and decided, yeah, this is a pretty good. I mean, we get a little bit of a block view off to the west a little bit, but for the most part, it's a good view. So we put up a new one, a 42-footer at that time. So I took 2 basically 21-foot lengths of pipe and had them bolt together, and we took and put that up and guided it down, and we had to go up there, but we could go up there with a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. You just go up Squirrel Truck Roadaways, jump it into where the mine goes up, and then go on up in a 4-wheeler. And I had some of the people that work for Vitagreen that lived right down at the base of that, they would run up there for me and fuel it up. Joe Gates and one of the other gentlemen were really good about it. So that was great, and that stayed there for a few years until the windstorm.
January of 2007.
Something like that. Yeah, that windstorm took it and pushed it over. It was early in the spring. The ground was really soft, and basically it was just kind of stuck in the ground. The guy wires had spikes that went down into the ground. And it pulled the spike out, and she just went over on her side and just buried one of the cross arms, just stabbed it into the ground so deep we couldn't get it out without a lot of work. So when we went up to clean up the site and put the new cross up, we basically cut it off and left the monument sitting there. So I think that cross arm is still sitting there today. So then we acquired this 100-foot tower, and we took that up. We hired a crane company to come up and tip it up in place for us. So we put it all together, laid it out, tipped it up, and then the arms are put on in such a way that they get hoisted up, hooked on, and then brought up.
Well, I'll tell you what we're doing. We're going to take a quick break. Again, we're talking to Randy Smith, the cross guy. We're going to take a quick break. We have some photos that we may have already shown. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about where it is now, the permanency of it, the construction, all that good stuff. It's one of the most iconic things about the Wenatchee. It's Wenatchee's own version of the Hollywood sign, only better, more with the cross guy, Randy Smith. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
The Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Join me for Life with Lisa Bradshaw on NCW Life. It's not about my life, it's about yours.
Why live your life in the dark? At Schmidt Electric, we're one of the oldest and most respected companies in the Pacific Northwest.
Founded by my father in 1960, we have grown from 2 employees to 130.
From small commercial businesses to heavy industrial companies, we employ some of the most respected contractors. We're also a proud member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers for over 50 years. Call us at Schmidt Electric today.
Spring has finally arrived, and with the new spring colors comes Easter. There's plenty of good reasons to shop at Wenatchee Valley Mall, like a visit with the Easter Bunny. The Bunny will be at the mall through March 31st in the center court. Find the times the Bunny is hopping on in under the Events tab. From haircuts to new shoes and everything in between, Wenatchee Valley Mall has it all under one roof. Get all springy with yourself now at the Wenatchee Valley Mall. And we are back on this Good Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz alongside Randy Smith, the cross guy. Brought him in on Good Friday with Easter Sunday coming up on Sunday. So we're going to throw up you brought your scrapbook with you, which is right here. We scanned some photos, so we're going to go ahead and start throwing some photos up. And this is the original Genesis that you talked about here just a few minutes ago, right?
Right. That is, and that was, I'm not sure who the photographer was on that one, but they obviously didn't go up at that time with us, because we just snuck up there, stuck it up, and came back down again.
The initial, I mean, as you mentioned before, the cross went up one day, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody went, where did this come from? Who did this? This is cool. And then the word got out. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, there's another picture. This is probably later, a year or two later. The Steve DeCamp, I'm the one with the hat on there. That's my wife on the upper right-hand corner, and Mike Stubblefield is warming his hands at the fire. I'm not sure who the gal is down there, but it's amazing that the photographers have this keen eye to know when just to snap that picture.
And this is obviously the December holidays of '95, because you can see the date down there at the bottom.
Okay, correct, yep.
So, next picture is going to show us that.
That's Frank Lafayette. Him and his wife came up that one year to help us put it up, and
this is still the original site, right?
This is still the original site. Right. One of the things I remember is Greg Brown.
Yes.
He was it was amazing how scared he was when we were pulling this thing up, because it's quite the tug.
Yeah.
You get two guys going on the downhill side pulling on the guy wires to get this thing tipped up, and you got people from behind pushing with a pole trying to push this thing up, and you're trying to keep the guys on the backhand side of guy wires from falling over, and basically I'm standing there just giving commands which corner to pull, which corner to let off a little on to get this thing up, and that was Greg's response was, "Man, I'm so scared right now."
That's a good Greg Brown impersonation. That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank goodness Brownie is a big, strapping, handsome guy like me.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to help.
There you go.
Yep, that's just another one of the nicer pictures. Somebody took a little bit of time to take that time lapse, because they don't generally, and I don't think that was on the Thimble. I think that was on the Rooster Comb site there.
So let's Castle Rock to Rooster Comb to its current location. Talk about how the cross ended up where it is now. and the move from Rooster Comb and making it more of a permanent thing.
Right. With the mining prospects going on in Lawrence property there at Rooster Comb, he basically asked us to find a new site for it. And about that time, I went to a yard sale. I ran into Wolfgang Mueller, and come to find out, he had offered the site it's on now years ago, years prior, and I didn't take him up on it. I don't know why, but I didn't take him up on it. His son and mine actually palled around together just a little bit. So when he offered me the site, I said, wow, that's great. Phenomenal.
It's
I love
perfect.
it. So I went up there with my son and another guy, and we kind of scoped the site out and paced off where the guy wires would need to be. And the land is set up really almost perfectly, because that rock, that jetty that comes out, that finger that comes up, that is an ideal location for one of the guy wires. Because normally when you put something on the front of a bluff, you got no guy wires to put it on down in the front.
Right.
So you have to set it back further in order to do, and this was just ideal the way it was set up there. And Wolfgang was just incredibly generous and helpful in any way he possibly could to get us to do that. So we put it up there, got the generator up and running, and it was amazing. From the move from one location to the other, I don't believe we spent more than $500.
That was it?
That was it. That was that. And I'm not even sure it was that much.
So is that the same cross that was at Rooster Comb? Because the original was 30 foot, then he went to 42?
42 foot.
And that is still the same Rooster Comb cross, just
Well,
relocated.
no, when the wind blew it over, we put up a new 100-footer.
Okay, a 100-footer.
Right, yeah. So we went up on Rooster Comb, we hand dug all the holes.
Okay.
Hand mixed all the cement for the bases and the guy wires for these things, because we didn't want it to blow over again. When we went up to Wenatchee Heights, the concrete, Central Washington Concrete donated a full truck of concrete. So we had Woodland Excavation, the Cusick guy, come in, and he dug all the holes for us for all the guy wires and the base. We took a section, we had one extra section, and we put it down into the hole, and then the concrete company came up and they dumped 12 yards of concrete in between all the holes. And then the rest of it was just a bit of, legwork more than anything else. I had quite a team come up there, help put it up. That's never a problem, finding help. You put the word out, and they just come out of the word.
What's been the response since the move to Wenatchee Heights, where anybody can look out and see it? What's?
I had a little bit of negative response on Rooster Comb by some stargazers, because they said it was light pollution basically, and it was whatever. Kind of hard for them to see by it or whatever. I don't know if they must have been looking at something in that area, but I sympathize with that. But when it went up to Wenatchee Heights, we got a lot of positive response for it. There are always those who are not going to like it and whatnot. So you just pray for them and hope they just see that it's, for them, it's just a light on the hill, no more than a billboard sign or the beacons on the towers up there. It's just a generic light to them. But to a lot of people, it means a tremendous amount.
It's permanent now. It's not going anywhere. It's set in concrete. How is it still lit by a generator, or have you been able to actually run electricity to it now, and you don't have to worry about that anymore?
It was about 2 years, I think, after we actually put it up, that I had a gentleman come up and trench from close to the towers over there, 1,200 feet down to where the cross is now. And he just wanted a picture of him on his trencher in front of the cross for payment. That was all he wanted, so he could show his friend. According to his words, he wasn't such an SOB after all. So he put that there, and I gave him this nice framed picture, and I can't recall his name right off the bat. But anyway, a neat guy, and he got it done, so we had the PUD run power to it. So now it's basically, right now it's on a photo cell. And I've had so many comments from so many people about the way we're living and the times we're living in. We really need to have that lit all the time. So it is on a photo cell, and it will be on all the time.
We only got about 30 seconds left. Is it okay for people to physically visit the site?
No, it is not.
It is not.
No, it is
I want to
not.
stress this.
No, it is private property, and the liability reasons, we do not want them to visit it. If they would like to make donations, WenatcheeValleyCross.com. That is the website. You can find an awful lot of stuff in there. People who sponsor it and would like to, give a little bit of money here or there, that's just great. We get more money than we can spend, so we give it away.
Randy, God bless you. Have a great Easter.
Oh, he does. He does.
And thanks for visiting us. I appreciate it.
It was a
It's
pleasure.
a great story.
Total pleasure.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great Easter weekend. We'll see you Monday. Until then, take care and bye-bye.